Good morning. It is day 9 of 84, and I am feeling really good this morning. Surprisingly, my weight is way down. My weight this morning is 232.6, which is the absolute lightest I have been on a Tuesday. Normally, I don't hit 232 until around Friday, Saturday. So to be there on Tuesday, it's pretty crazy. I lost a lot of weight this weekend, and it seems like my weight is still falling during the week. So it's a pretty dramatic weight loss, to be honest. And I'm kind of wondering if this is going to be a continuous thing for my weight loss, dropping this much per week. And if it is, I'm definitely going to have to pick my calories up after next week, because if I drop another 2 to 3 pounds by this weekend, that's way too fast. So I'm going to have to increase my calories. I'm not wanting to lose that fast. So it's kind of like, what is going on? How come I'm losing weight so fast now? Because the last 12 weeks on average, I was losing about half a pound a week. And now all of a sudden, it's just skyrocketing my weight loss. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and eat my oatmeal. I've already taken my pills, drink my protein shake. I'm going to get ready for work. Well, I'm already ready for work and head out to work, should I say. There we are again. Another beautiful sunrise. Okay, so to put things in perspective, I know whenever you're on a diet, especially deficit, people talk about like you have to make adjustments to the diet. You either have to do more output or you have to eat less food to keep making forward progress. And people adjust their diets like every week, every other week to be able to keep seeing progress forward. But for 12 weeks, I didn't adjust anything, right? I played with my macros and I dropped my protein and picked my carbs up, but I kept them really close to the same. The only difference was I brought my protein down and my carbohydrates up to replace the amount of carbohydrates with protein, same amount of calories. So that way I can have more energy during the day to do cardio and work out and train harder. Well, for the whole 12 weeks, I was losing close to around like half a pound, quarter of a pound, 3/4 of a pound. About 3/4 of a pound to half a pound a week is what I was losing on average. The beginning was about a pound, 3/4, and then slowed all the way down to about 1/4 of a pound a week, which that's what I was shooting for anyways. So at the end of those 12 weeks, the weekend, I had a little bit of fun, ate whatever I wanted. And I was like, all right, time to get back to it. I kept everything identical to what I was doing before. Same food, same meals, same calories, same times, same everything, right? Same everything. Same cardio, same training, nothing changed. And now my weight is dropping radically. This is week 2 of 12. So technically this would be week 14 if I wouldn't have restarted the 12-week count. And not changing anything, not adjusting my cardio up, not dropping my calories down. My body is revved up and I'm burning more, I can't say burning more fat, but I'm losing more weight now every week faster the longer I have been on the same exact diet and training. So my body, I guess, is getting really used to it and it's becoming so efficient at what I'm doing, it's starting to like fire on all cylinders. That's a good thing because it means that I don't really have to adjust nothing down. I get to adjust stuff up. So I'm gonna watch it this week. And if I drop another 2 pounds this weekend, I drop another 2 pounds next weekend, I'm definitely gonna be picking my calories up. I don't wanna lose that much weight. I want to lose around 1/2 pound a week because I don't want to get skinny and stringy, because when I lose 2 pounds a week, 1.5 pounds a week, I always end up looking very stringy and losing all my muscle mass. So the whole concept of like, well, you're doing too much cardio. You're walking twice a day, every day. And the reason why you're losing so much weight is because how much you're walking. If you reduced your cardio, you wouldn't have this problem. But I want to eat more. Reason being, if I eat more carbs, I get bigger pumps. I have better gym sessions. I have more energy. If I eat more protein, I have more available amino acids in my blood to help repair and build muscle mass, right? So it's one of those things. The more you do, the more you can eat. The more you can eat, the more you'll build. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna do less activities and eat 1,700, 1,800 calories a day. Well, how big can you get on 1,700 calories a day? I don't know. But it wouldn't be as big as someone who can eat 3,700 calories a day. Someone who's eating 3,700 calories a day will definitely be bigger than someone that's eating 1,700 calories a day. Now, I don't mean fat. Well, yeah, you're eating 3,700 calories a day, so of course you're bigger, you're fatter. No, that's not what I mean. If you are eating 1,700 calories a day and losing on average a pound, pound and a half, versus someone who's eating 3,700 to 4,000 calories a day, who's still losing around a pound, half a pound a week, who do you think's carrying more muscle mass? The guy who's consuming more calories because he has more muscle mass to have to carry. He has more muscle mass to carry, so that means that he needs more energy for his muscle. Say, well, no, it's because of cardio. No, the cardio helps metabolize the food. It helps absorb the food. It helps with digestion, insulin sensitivity. So that means it's helping you absorb the food better, get into your bloodstream better, go to your muscles better, circulate through your system better. And it means that you can have more of it in you all the time. So there's a big misconception about like cardio will wither you away. No, cardio allows you to eat more. It allows your body to function better. So this is a huge thing that I've learned these last like 6 months. It's like even for gaining weight, cardio is not the enemy. It allows you to eat more food. So you can actually get bigger by doing cardio. I'm not talking about running and sprinting in zone 2. I'm talking about just being active and moving around, walking. It's incredible what it's done for me. And I'm not trying to convince anybody. I'm not trying to change anyone's mind. I'm not trying to sit here and preach this is what everyone should be doing or this is what you need to do. I'm not a help channel, and I'm not an advice like nothing like that. I'm just showing you guys what I'm doing. Whether you feel it's right or wrong, that's your choice or that's your opinion. But I'm doing what's going to work, what I feel best for me. And so far, I feel like I have been going in the right direction because I'm still in the 230s. And my stomach is getting leaner and leaner every single week. My arms are holding size, if not getting bigger. Last time I worked my arms out, I was 17 3/4 with a pump. That's the biggest my arms have ever been at this body fat. So, I mean, I was 17 1/4. And over the last like 14 weeks, my arms have gone up by almost half an inch. So, I mean, proof is in the pudding, right? We can talk all day, but whenever we start putting the effort in and showing the results, that's whenever it starts to matter, regardless of what says who, this, that, or the other. All right, I'm gonna finish my walk and enjoy this morning. Belly full of pills, and the coffee is brewing. So heating up my 4th meal of the day, chicken and rice. The day has gone by really fast. And I am really hungry, so I'm actually glad it's time for this meal because this is going to be the one, if I am full today, to do it, to at least feel full, because I have been hungry all day. So my metabolism for sure is picking up. So whenever I was talking about it this morning, about my weight dropping so fast and rapidly, it's a hit or miss if I'm hungry. So some days I'm more hungry than others. Some days I'm not hungry at all. But more often or not, I'm not hungry. I don't have any hunger. So for my weight to be dropping as rapidly as it is, and my hunger to be skyrocketing the way it is, it makes sense. It's like, yeah, my metabolism has to be revving up, or my body's becoming so efficient at burning calories and digesting the food that I'm eating, like it's revving up. So going up on food to slow down the weight loss, to help increase muscle mass or muscle retention while in a deficit, is the most ideal thing you do. You never want to eat less if you can help it. Like if I, in my head, in my imagination, I'm like, if I get to like 400 grams of protein a day and like 600 carbohydrates a day and have a 6-pack eating that much food, imagine how big you're going to be. Maintaining a visible 6-pack with that amount of food per day, imagine how big you are. Imagine how strong you are. It's a lot of food, right? But if you're eating that much food and you're just doubling on the fat, it's like the wrong direction. Because I remember whenever I was powerlifting, I was sitting at 275 pounds walking around. That's my walk around weight. And I was eating 8,000 and 9,000 calories a day, not gaining any weight. on average was 8,000 a day. Every single day. I trained 3 days a week, no cardio at all. And I was eating 8,275, not gaining weight. And if I missed a day, or if I was lazy, or if I just wasn't hungry enough to eat, I was just like, I just can't eat this today, I would lose weight the very next day. More than likely glucose in the muscle. But still, like eating that amount of food, being that big, it's doable. So being to the point where I can eat 400 grams of protein a day, 600 carbohydrates a day, get my calories somewhere around 5,000, 6,000 a day, and have a six-pack, a visible six-pack, would be super amazing. We are back in the gym for another wonderful shoulder night. I'm not doing calves tonight because I'm gonna start doing calves on Sunday so I can give them the same attention that I give every other muscle group. The only days that I train 2 body parts together is arms and legs, bis and tris together, quads and hamstrings together. Everything else gets its own separate day. 7 days a week, cardio twice a day. Man, we're making progress, getting results. We're gonna put in twice the work and get twice the gains, all right? Let's make it happen. Tonight, I felt like doing volume, so I went ahead and did 4 sets up to my top. This is my 5th set right here. I'm doing sets of 15. Well, I started with 20, 20, 15, 15. And then I'm gonna see what I can get with the 45s. I don't know if I'm gonna rest pause. I think I'm gonna drop set because tonight is the night that I'm really feeling volume. So I'm gonna do a little bit more repetition tonight because you know what? That's what's talking to me. I want 15 at least. Okay, now I'm not gonna rest pause except for that little mini rest. I'm gonna drop down to the 25s. Give me some volume work in here because, like I said, sometimes I just feel like giving my joints a little bit of a break from the heavier lifts. Switching it up a little bit. Oh man, but they don't feel heavy. When they feel heavy, I mean, they don't feel light. Try not to let them rest. I know, like, oh, wasn't that a rest pause? Shut up.
That was a catching a breath pause.
Yeah. Well, that's some good jump volume right there. Woo! Good start to the night. Okay, just a straight set of these all the way through. I don't know how many I'm gonna get, but I'm not afraid to use a little bit of body English. So we'll see how many I get strict, and then we'll start doing some cheat reps into the maybe middle / end of it. These get the whole entire shoulder, contrary to what people think. That's 13. Kind of turn it into like a kettlebell swing at the end, right? It's like, y'all don't know what a kettlebell swing is. Basically, you get a kettlebell and you swing it through like this. That's a kettlebell swing. So kind of goes from a front lateral raise to a kettlebell, but all the same, like I'm not afraid to use body English. I like using body English. If I can get some momentum going, get a couple extra reps at the end of a hard set, and really push that muscle further than what it can do strictly without getting hurt, oh yeah, lay into that throttle a little bit. Fourth set with 15 pounds, doing sets of 20. Some people respond really well to heavy weight. Some people respond better to lighter weight. Side laterals, front laterals, I seem to respond a lot better to more volume on these than I do heavier weight. When I do heavier weight, it really just hurts my shoulders really bad. So by keeping the weight lighter and just really pushing the volume, my shoulders respond and I have no shoulder pain from it. So we're gonna keep to the lighter weights with the shoulders for certain movements. So to give you an idea of what the plan is, I'm going to do, here, come closer because you're in front of that, so it's going to pick that up. So what I'm going to do is I just did the 15s for 4 sets of 20 reps. So next time I come in, I'm going to go to the 17s, try to get 4 sets of 20. And if I can get all 4 sets of 20, I'll go up to the 20s. And I continue to do 4 sets until I get all 20. If I hit the 25s, and let's say I go 20, 20, 15, 12, then the goal to beat is 12. So then I'll come in and I might try to do 13 for all 4 sets. Or I might do 20, 20, 15, 13. As long as I'm getting 1 more rep at the last set or 1 more rep above what the lowest number was until I get 20 on every one of them, then I go up to the next weight. And that's what I did for my powerlifting. And my shoulders were very bulbous, big, and round. And I never went heavy really on my shoulders after I started getting shoulder pain, and they just responded to the volume. So I'm gonna kind of stick to that. I'm not gonna train every body part the same, like, oh, it all has to be high intensity, it all has to be high. No, my body parts respond to certain things better than they do others. So I'm not gonna put every muscle in the same category. Now I'm going to go a little bit heavier on these than everything else because I feel like that rear delt can really take some punishment. And the heavier you go on the rear delt, the more benefit it gets. I don't mean going like sets of 5 to 7, but somewhere around 10 plus or minus, you know, however many, I guess. But I just feel like the rear delt responds better to heavier load. This for a drop. And this is where the volume comes in. I used to do the 1-arm cable. I used to really enjoy those. I'll show you in a second. So I used to really enjoy taking the cable stack, putting it here, and doing these, right? I used to really like those, even grabbing the ball like here and coming out this, or even grabbing the D handle with the reverse grip and going this way. I used to like those a lot, but to be honest, it just takes a lot of time, because it's like if you're doing a 15 reps and you go other side, 15 reps and you rest, and you go 15 reps, it's like you're doing 2 sets instead of 1 set, and and I know it's like, oh, well, you're in the gym, you enjoy the gym, be in the gym longer, what's the problem? Well, the problem is I don't like spending too much time on one movement where it's being dragged out, where I can do like reverse pec deck, bend over laterals, or these, and get the same basic effect as doing it just one at a time. I just don't really see the benefit. Now, if you have a very hard time feeling your rear delt, and you have a very hard time targeting that rear delt, and you never feel it in your rear delt, then I understand why you might want to be like,
Trying to figure it out.
yeah, like, oh, there. When I pull down from up, down, there it is. But if I do any other plane of motion, so I understand trying to figure it out, narrow it down, target it to feeling it 100%. But me, I never have that problem. I feel it in my rear delts with every rep, and if I stop feeling it, I can adjust my elbows a little bit and re-engage that rear delt. So I've never had that problem. So that's why for me, it's like not a nonsense movement, but it's a waste of time movement for myself. If you guys are watching the videos and wondering, what's that hissing sound? This isn't a water heater, it's a water tank. We're on well, so when the water level goes down, this has a pressure gauge that like opens up to let the vacuum of the water draining or the water filling up. So when you hear that hissing, what it is the pump is turning on and it's pushing water into the tank. So it's bleeding the valve, so the pressure stays where it's supposed to be. And normally you'll hear like a whoop whenever it's done. And we'll see if it actually does it this time. Am I in frame? Yeah, close enough. Okay, worst part is getting the shirt off. Okay, let's see. Oh. There it is. Okay. Here we go. Let's see. It's a good pump. Just in general, standing here, it's a good pump. Yeah. Rear delt's popping. Like I said, I've never really had a problem with that rear delt. I can flex it like this, right? My shoulder. Or I could bring that rear delt out and pull it back and get that rear delt to pop. So now the rear delt is pushed out and it's popping. And then now I'm flexing the lower part of the tricep and the front delt. So that's front delt, pec, and side. And then there's pushing that rear delt out. Yeah, that rear delt's kind of nice and thick. So again, flexing the rear delt, getting it to pop out, nice and bulbous. But then the front delt, it kind of disappears. And you drop the shoulder down, pull up and out on the wrist and dropping the shoulder down, flex the pec. There is the center, and then the front delt there. And then rear delt. And then front delt. And then rear delt. See, that rear delt is what gives the shoulder all that mass, man. That's what gives it like that big bulbous look. Even from the rear, when you're flexing, doing that rear double bicep, get those, the front delts is what makes that ball on the top of the shoulder, which matches the peaks of the bicep. But the rear delts, that's what gives those caps from the rear. Ugh. Do this one more time. It's one of my favorite poses. When I saw Dorian Yates do this pose, and he came on stage and he hit that, and then realizing that only the bigger guys with big lats and thighs can pull this, because you don't really see the smaller guys doing this pose. This is like for the bigger mass monsters. So doing this pose and pulling it off is an indication of your size and mass. A small guy with no lat, no quad, you know, opening up that pec, it disappears if you open that pec up, you don't have it. And then you're exposing your weak areas, right? And this one right here is just a fun pose to do. It's just a classic, you know? All right, last one. All right, I'm gonna go do my cardio. Like I said, normally I would be training my calves tonight with shoulders, but I'm putting my calves on Sunday because I want to give everything its own day and attention. Monday is back. Tuesday is shoulders. Thursday is biceps, triceps. I train those together. Thursday is chest. Friday is hamstrings and quads. I train the upper leg together like I do the arm. Saturday is going to be abs, abdominal, core. And then Sunday is going to be calves. And I think that's a pretty solid routine. I'm working out 7 days a week, cardio twice a day, every day. And I feel like I'm giving everything a long enough break from each other to be able to be recovered enough to be able to make progress. I am just really happy with the way my results are coming too, man. This is just really coming together. Okay, that's enough looking at myself. I'm gonna go do my cardio. I just feel like some body parts respond better to certain stimuluses. Going back to what I was saying about the high intensity versus high volume, I don't think you have to choose between one or the other. I think it's kind of dogma to be able to sit there and feel like there's like a category or like a separation of the two. Like you can only do one or the other, because whenever I was powerlifting, my main movements were super heavy and intense. But all my assistance work was done with volume and repetition with sets of like 5 sets of 20 with almost everything I did. So I don't really see the need of separation of volume to intensity. And every time I got into bodybuilding, I always went one way or the other. But anytime I was powerlifting, it was always like a blend of both. Like I can't push everything with intensity because I have to do all my assistance work to bring up all my weak muscles to get them stronger. And I did that through sets and repetition. But when it came to my main lifts, my sports specific for powerlifting, those are the ones that I had to really throttle the intensity and bring it up. But I knew I can't do this for everything. So I have to only do this with the ones that have the biggest carryover. Then everything else is just going to be building up size and endurance and strength. So then it's like, well, why don't I do that with bodybuilding? Except for take out the heavy deadlift, squats, and bench and replace those sets of like 3 to 5 with rest pause and drop sets and other techniques that will allow me to be able to still train intense without the heavy load of the maxing out of 3 reps, 5 reps, singles, and whatever else. So whenever I say like there's certain muscles that respond better, I believe that. Like I don't think the shoulder is a muscle that's going to respond better to 500 pounds than it would for 75 pounds. I think the shoulder is a volume movement. I think it's a volume muscle. I used to be a mechanic and my hands were over my head all day long and my shoulders would start burning. I put them down for a couple of seconds or a minute, put them back up and go back to turning wrenches and pulling and doing things. My hands were over my head for 8 hours a day, every single day. And I never lost size in my shoulders or strength. In fact, I think that's kind of what contributed to my shoulder size over the years. Same thing for my forearms. I was turning wrenches and using my hands in construction and mechanical, and that's a high volume movement. That's a high volume muscle. So like I said, back, power, legs, power, chest, power. Everything else, endurance. Your arms are never designed to be like super strong. They're designed to move a lot. You know, and you say, well, so are your legs because you walk with them all day and stand. Yeah, well, in theory. So that's why I said I don't feel like there's a category that you need to put one given muscle into. Figure out what stimulus each muscle responds to, because your back might respond better to high volume, your chest responds better to high intensity, or it's the other way around, or maybe it's a split between the two. Maybe you got to go high intensity for 2 weeks and then go high volume for 3 weeks, or maybe it's a 1-to-1 ratio, 1 week on, 1 week off. You know, just play with it and figure out what's going to work best for you. That's what I did, and now I know what muscles are responding best to what stimulus, and I am making leaps and bounds in progress. And I don't care what anybody says, right, wrong, or in between. It's working. And if it's working, you can't argue progress. That's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.